Good morning this morning, and this is Beauty, Business, and Banking. I am Rochelle Hunter Mosley, and you guys had so many questions about the episode with Taliah about buying a home, the real estate, when to buy, how to buy, where to buy. You guys had a lot of questions, so I thought it was good that we just do a Q&A so we can get some of these questions out of the way.
Well, first, we want to thank everyone because one of the clips that we posted from the podcast, well, the episode went viral. We had over 500,000 views, over 17,000, over 17,000 likes, and this clip we talked about house rich, cash poor. And
I got money.
And the conversation continued in the comments, and you guys seem to really resonate with that, comment that Rochelle was talking about. That's what she did not want to be this time around when she purchases.
Exactly.
So we figured the Q&A would be perfect to kind of keep the conversation going, answer any questions you guys had. So here we are.
So make sure you guys can put your questions there, and we will answer your questions. And then we also have a list of questions, so many questions
Just
you
in
guys had under the actual post. But first, I'd like to start with an icebreaker question. Gotta pick a card.
Oh, this is what she didn't tell me about. Okay, right.
Okay.
What do you most look forward to about getting old? The first thing that comes to mind is the wisdom. That's the first thing that comes to mind. The wisdom that comes with it. Yes, knowing more, knowing what you wish you would have known back then. Knowing now what you wish you would have known back then. That's the first thing that comes to mind.
I think for me, it's more like I don't think I'm ever going to retire. Really.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I decided. I don't think I'm gonna ever really retire. I think that I will be in the beauty business some type of way. Some way I will have my hands on it. Yeah. So I just don't want to be behind that chair per se.
Because of the stress that it's
exactly. It's very strenuous on your body, but I do wish to be in the beauty business until the day I die.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
If I think about that, I guess that because real estate has so many facets, I think that it's the same for me. It's just that I will probably be more in the investment side, learning more in that way, being landlord, doing different projects, development projects and things like that. So still in real estate, probably definitely advising, consulting. So I see that as well. Now that you bring it up.
Right?
I see that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because I feel like people retire, they just die.
Yeah, the purpose. You need that purpose.
It's like you gotta have something to do, keep your mind going. Everybody want to retire, but what you gonna do, sis?
And if you talk to a lot of people of age, they talk about that. They usually retire and then go back to get a hobby, like pick up some sort of hobby because they get too bored being at home.
Right.
My mom is a DIY girl. So.
Before we get started, I just want to share with you a hobby I picked up. So basically, since I'm on my saving thing again, I decided to travel through wines. So I'm in Chile now.
You in Chile?
Chile. I'm in Chile now.
Okay.
So I'm drinking. I tried a Bordeaux.
A Bordeaux.
That's what.
Bordeaux.
Okay. Bordeaux. I'm from Virginia. Bordeaux.
She gonna say it the way she wants to say it. Okay, people.
And Carmenere. Is that how you say it?
Carmenere. I don't know. I've never heard of it.
It's a Carmenere. So basically, it's the different grapes.
So, okay.
Yeah. So when I go to the store and I start talking to the guys about the different wines. So right now I'm in Chile.
You're gonna be a connoisseur.
Yeah.
That's really that's like a high level position. Not position. I can't think of the word, but it's really
sommelier.
It's coveted. Yes.
Sommelier.
And it's a coveted sommelier.
I'm from Virginia. So
Again, and she goes to sommelier.
My tongue won't let me say certain stuff.
Yes. It's a very highly coveted position.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's where I'm at.
That's interesting. I like the way you put it. I'm traveling.
Yes.
Through wine.
I'm traveling through wine.
That's interesting.
Yes, I'm traveling.
Yes.
Okay, so do we have any questions up?
Do we have any questions yet? Come on, people. Ask the questions.
Okay, so first, someone had a question, right?
Yeah, so what we did is we looked through on the video that went viral about house rich, cash poor. We looked through the comments and kind of gathered some questions from those comments.
Okay, so how is the bank approving these large loans and people can't pay?
Again?
This is the question. How are they doing that?
How are these people?
are these people?
But you're right. The person asked it with, it seemed like they asked it with that amount of force.
Right.
So my answer to that would be, you have to remember the bank is giving you a pre-approval based on income, so obviously credit as well, but your income. So you have to do your own due diligence, and you have to be proactive, and you have to set a monthly budget for yourself, for your housing expenses. Only you know all of the other bills and your, whatever other responsibilities you may have. Only you know that. So you have to come up with a monthly budget. What I tell my clients to do is tell me what your monthly budget is for your mortgage, and that's what we tell my preferred lender. So that's what he goes off of. My client may say, I don't want to pay no more than $4,000 a month for my mortgage. But remember, your mortgage is your mortgage, your insurance, your taxes, and your interest. So PITI is what we call it. Principal, insurance, taxes, interest. So that's the number we give my preferred lender, and that's the numbers he works with. And then he tells me what budget I should be shopping in for that client.
Okay.
That is the best way you should go about it. Don't get the pre-approval and then just shop that way. Come up with a budget for your specific situation.
Right. So what you remember when I was telling you that I got a loan and I went no income verification?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So when I went no income verification, I think that what the young lady was also asking me, how was I able to buy that house knowing that I couldn't pay?
Afford it.
It wasn't that I didn't know that I couldn't pay.
No.
It was just that I felt like I could pay. I had the money coming in that I could pay, but the bank didn't check to see if I really could do it.
That's not the bank's job.
Okay.
That was your job. So you went no income verification. First of all, those loans have a high interest rate. Right. That's number one.
It was very high.
It's not going to be your FHA interest rate is going to be 3.5%. Then now conventional loans, you can get a 3% interest rate, but it's like a first-time home buyers program for conventional loans. So you can even get as low as a 3% interest rate, right? But when you're doing a no doc loan, they still have those loans. Those are like entrepreneur loans. Those are loans for self-employed people that don't really have tax returns that show a large amount of income because I can't get the word. They write a lot of their expenses off.
Right.
So those loans are going to have a high interest rate. So that's number one. You had a high interest rate. So you didn't come up with your own budget for yourself. You just got approved for the loan and went house shopping.
Right.
You should have.
That's exactly right. And I had a husband that was paying the bills.
That's another reason why you didn't. Tell the people the truth. Tell the people the truth, child. That husband was paying the bills, and she said, "Oh, that's what we get. Oh, I got the loan. Great.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
So let's go and get it.
Exactly. That was where you were fault. That's where the fault was. See, that was a missing information from
a thing, sis.
Oh, sis, that was what we was missing from the first live.
They thought that you always did income verification was the question. The response. They thought that you always did income verification.
As the real estate agent? No. Now, a good real estate agent, I'm not going to say good, a realtor who is knowledgeable, right? Because you may have someone who's new, who may not be well versed.
Right.
So, but someone who is experienced, has been doing it for years, they pretty much will go. If they're having a conversation with you, they may give you some detail about your income. They're going to ask you some questions during the consultation, and they may be able to guide you. But your realtor is not. That is not what their job is, to tell you to verify your income. Now, when you first come to them interested in buying a home, they are going to say, "Are you pre-approved?" So they may go further and say, "How's your credit? Have you been working for 2 years? What's your average income?" They may ask that, but that is not their job. So let's be clear about that.
When searching for a realtor to purchase property, what questions should you ask to determine if this is a realtor for you?
Well, first, one of my main points is always vibe check, right? See how you get along, see how your synergy is with that realtor.
Right.
Also communications, yes, communication style. You may be someone who wants to have a follow-up call every other day, right? That realtor may be more of an email, talk about that communication style and make sure you guys are on the same page. Right. Also, depending on the area you want to move in, you want to maybe make sure they're well versed in that particular area. Because remember, we're licensed in this whole entire state, but 9 times out of 10, every realtor does not service the entire state.
Right.
Because that may span, and in New Jersey, it's 2 hours.
It's crazy.
Right, you know, so you want to, that's very important. Where you're going to be looking for the home, you want to make sure the realtor knows, is knowledgeable about that area.
Right.
So that's something, and then you want to maybe check their team of professionals. Do they have a preferred lender? Do they have, their attorney? Just ask those questions about what their team of professionals look like.
Is there a place where we can look to see the realtor or brokerage reviews?
Just your normal Google. You can ask about their reviews, but that's going to be your Google, your Zillow.
I don't really like to go by views because it's only based on their person's experience.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah. Sometimes I think that's a little
skewed.
Crazy.
It can be skewed.
Yeah, because you come in and you got your whatever you got going on, and it's not necessarily the realtor or the hairstylist. It could just be you.
Yeah, it could be
like you just came in there. Woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Now everything everybody's doing is against you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
like the lady who came, you only want a finger waves plus the bob.
Yeah,
no, she didn't want finger waves and a bob. No, she didn't.
All the things.
No,
I was like,
I can't do. I can't. But that's true. I've heard people say that reviews can be skewed. So that's the main thing, right? In terms of the home itself, let me make sure that you are knowledgeable about the area that I'm looking to purchase in, right? Because that means that you can guide me properly.
So talk about being knowledgeable of the place that you're working in or want to live in, right? Mm-hmm. I wasn't very knowledgeable about that community, that home, right? I was not very knowledgeable because when I moved into that community, we didn't have the fire department, they didn't have a lot of police officers, they didn't have all the other things, the schools and all the things, right? So my thing was,
because it was a new area. It was
a new build, right? Mm-hmm. So when I moved in, the mortgage was something that I could afford.
Okay.
And then they were charging me. I think they were doing adding only $100 to my mortgage, right?
Okay.
With a month for the taxes.
Because they had not done the assessment.
They had not the tax assessment yet. That this is where I got mixed up at. This is where things start to go downhill. Okay. So what happened was. What happened was every year, the taxes went up. Every year, the taxes went up. So what happened was I could not afford the taxes. Mm-hmm. They was adding the tax onto my mortgage payment every year.
So this is important, people.
It started at $12,000. Next year, $15,000. Next year, $17,000. Next year, $18,000. Pounding until my mortgage went from $2,500 a month for my 5-bedroom house to $7,500 in 7 years. It went up to $7,500, and he's a witness. I could not afford it.
See, this is the thing, people. When you are purchasing a new construction, you have to remember that the taxes have not been assessed. The land has an improvement now, right? So before the construction, there was no improvement. It was just the land. Now that the new construction is there, the taxes have to be assessed. So your taxes are going to skyrocket most likely the next year. So No. There's no way around it.
There's no way around it.
Taxes and death. There's no way around it.
There's no way around it. You have to pay the taxes. You have to just come into a large sum of money to pay those taxes, and I just couldn't,
And the city comes and does the assessment. There's nothing you can do.
I did my best. I did my level best, and that's, I had to move. I couldn't stay. Even if I wanted to stay, I couldn't stay. So people, when you guys are buying these new constructions,
remember that the taxes have not been assessed.
Yes, if the taxes have not been assessed, that $100 that they adding on to it.
This is not an existing build renovation. This is a brand new construction.
So like a new community.
New construction, right?
A new
community, which is what you have moved
construction. And a new construction,
yes, a cul-de-sac, exactly.
They have to factor in everything. Like I said, the school, the fire department, the police, everything.
I said you had police department because they gave me a ticket.
Okay, Mr. Simply Life 215 said, that was the question that Christopher said. He didn't know that, he thought that we always did income verification. Now, like I said, that's someone who's experienced may, ask the questions.
Another question is, what's the target credit score?
So that's a layered question. Now, I'm an advocate for healthy credit, right? Because the better your credit, the better your interest. That's interest rate. That's pretty much cut and dry. So you don't want to target is as good as the credit can get. You want to be good. So 700s and up is
Make
pretty
sure
much.
it's not 516.
Yeah. Not 516. I don't even know if you can get over 516. 580 is the lowest for FHA, but you're going to have a higher interest rate at 580. Right. So the target score is as good as you can get it. As best as you can prepare so that you can have the lowest interest rate possible.
Another question that someone asked me, she said that she was buying a home. One of my clients, she said that she was buying a home and she was buying furniture at the same time. What? I said, are you paying cash for this furniture?
She better be, because as her realtor, I'd had a heart attack.
So what do you?
Oh my God!
Talk about that, because you blow the deal. You blow the deal when you make some purchases.
Please, this needs to be discussed. If you are purchasing a home, don't you dare purchase anything else unless you purchase it with cash. Do not use a credit card. I don't care. Don't let it come out of your bank account. Leave the money that's there alone. Do not take on any new debt at all. Not one piece of it. I don't care if it was $50.
No.
Don't do it. Please.
You will kill the deal.
Yes, you
Trust
will.
me.
The numbers have to be recalculated. It's just not a good space to be in. We don't want you to do that.
Okay, so a lot of people are asking about the down payment. We need to make the down payment clear, because I don't think people are clear about
the down
how
payment.
Much the down payment on a home.
Closing costs the same.
No. So first, the out-of-pocket costs are going to be, you have a few out-of-pocket costs during the process. You have your home inspection, your credit report, right? Those are going to be your out-of-pocket costs. But when you're closing, you're going to have your closing costs are going to include your down payment and your closing costs. So those are two separate things. The down payment is the payment that the bank requires to give you the loan. It's in good faith. Hey, we're going to give you $500,000, but you have to give us a percentage of this money in order for us to give you this loan, right? So that down payment amount is going to be determined by what loan program you get. Okay, so if it's an FHA, if it's a conventional, if it's a jumbo loan, your down payment is going to be determined by the type of loan you get.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So, and your closing costs are separate. The closing costs are going to be a myriad of fees. It's, basically the cost of getting the loan, fees, the title search, taxes, a myriad of other fees that's going to encompass your closing costs. But they're two separate things.
So would you get that list of costs early and up front so you can know what they are? Or is it just like on a
It's
whim?
a percentage. Your lender can will give you an idea, but your realtor is going to give you a percentage. For the most part, there's a standard percentage we go for, but it's obviously not fixed. But it's around between 6 and 8%.
Okay.
Together,
of the loan.
Of the purchase price of the home.
Okay.
Of the purchase price of the home, not the loan purchase price of the home. So it's going to be determined based on the amount of home you're purchasing as well. So that's the percentage we give someone. And so if you're calling me and we're having a consultation, I'm going to say, how much money do you have saved? And you may say, how much do I generally need for a down payment and closing costs? And I'm going to give you that number generally between 6 and 8%, but I like to say 10% for the buffer.
Right.
So I generally like to say it's best to just have 10% saved, 10% of the price of the home.
The home. Okay.
Yes.
So what if you don't have the money saved, right? And somebody give you the money and you drop the money in your account? Does that money have to be in there for a certain amount of time? Or can I have a letter saying that, my mama gave it to me, my uncle gave it to me? How does that work? Would that kill my loan?
No.
Or what?
So if we're having a conversation and you're saying, well, I don't have a lot of money saved, but my grandfather is going to give me, he's going to help me with the purchase.
Okay.
He's going to give me a certain amount of money. The lender is going to provide you with a document, with the buyer, with a document that that family member has to complete, and it's the gift form. So if you're getting a gift, so this is money that's not already in your account, money that someone's going to give you to help you with your home purchase. It is considered a gift, and the lender is going to give you a form for that family member to fill out.
Okay.
Right? Because money your money, if you're using money that's already in your account, it has to be sourced. It has to be sitting in your account for at least 30, but preferably 60 days.
Okay.
So, yeah, so so if you could definitely get a gift.
Okay.
But it has to, because remember, they want to find out where the money is coming from.
Exactly.
So the person that fills out the gift form has to where's this money coming from? They ask that person, that family member is going to have to answer those questions as well.
And what type of questions is it? Are they asking for the person's social security number? Are they asking for
No, not
what?
social security number, just the amount that's being given, what's the source of the money. They want to see if if it's been drafted from a 401k, they usually want to see that where it's coming from. Okay. So pretty much just the questions about the actual money that you're giving. Nothing, no social security number or anything like that.
Oh, okay. So another question was, what's the best loan options for a self-employed person?
Self-employed people, it depends.
Because our money is up and down.
It depends. It depends on that. You can have someone, there's strategy with everything, right? Yeah. You can have someone who's self-employed that knows they're going to be purchasing a home in 2 years, and they plan and strategize. So for the next 2 years, instead of writing off all of their expenses so they can have $2,000 income, they're going to, for that next 2 years, they're going to claim, they're not going to claim those expenses. They're going to pretty much pay the taxes on whatever that income they have is. So if they have $80,000 in income, instead of writing off $50,000 in expenses, they're going to pay taxes on that $80,000 because they're preparing for their purchase. So you can always do that. You can prepare if you know ahead of time. So you can get a FHA, if you're that type of person, if you're preparing for that purchase by paying your taxes.
Right.
So, that's what I said. It really just depends on, it's an individualized situation. It depends on what your income looks like. If you're someone that writes off all your expenses and you have a very, very low income, then you're probably going to have to go bank statement loan. Right. No doc,
Yeah.
No taxes, not no doc.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's pretty much, it's going to depend on the situation, depend on the person's individual situation.
Right. Any other questions, Chris?
You already answered it. But Taliah has this wonderful journal on all the information needed to buy a home. Where's that at?
Oh,
did you bring the journal? Oh,
you have it.
We'll get it and we'll show it to you guys at the end.
Yes.
It's a very helpful journal.
Yes,
it's jot down all the information. Y'all should be writing in it. Y'all should be writing in it today, but you're not writing in it today. But the information is going to be at the end of this video, definitely.
Yes, and it's available on Amazon, and yes, it's a home buyer's journal. So it goes through the entire process of from preparing for the purchase all the way to closing.
Right.
Detailed.
And I know a lot of people are as ignorant as I am. But what's the difference between ignorance is just not knowing.
I know. I know. You said I know a lot of people.
I'm ignorant to a lot of stuff. But the difference between, and this is one of the questions, what's the difference between a co-op, a condo, and a house? What's the difference? Because people say, come over to my house and you live in a condo. Or you come up to my house, you live in a co-op.
It's still a house.
Come up to my house and you live in a... What's the difference, though?
It's still a house.
Especially in terms of buying.
So a co-op is, you're not purchasing real estate. You are purchasing shares in a corporation. It's not really recommended in terms of, I don't like co-op purchases.
You don't like co-op?
I don't advise them. I don't advise my clients for co-op purchases. There's a lot of rules. There's an HOA. Right. Now, condos have an HOA, but because you're not purchasing real estate when you purchase
what are
into
shares,
a co-op.
Though?
Shares in a corporation. A co-op is a corporation. It's an actual. It's almost like buying shares into a company. So you have a 99-year lease. So it's a 99-year lease, and you can't. There's a lot of restrictions depending on which co-op you purchase into. You may not even be able to rent out the property. That happens even with, they have strict condos too. So you have to. So that's another. If you are looking to purchase a condo, it's preferred, or it's a smart decision to look into the HOA. the rules.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
so one of the questions was, I purchased my home and car both in the same week. But
What?
yeah, they purchased their home and their car.
You financed it?
You
financed
You
it?
did your close? Okay,
They said I purchased my car the day after I closed on my home.
Oh, that's
No, the day
that makes the
after.
day
No,
after they
that's
close.
different.
New car in the same week, but definitely after I
Okay,
closed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
As long as
I was finna say.
I was about to say, how the heck did that happen? But that's exactly right. I'm going to tell you. As soon as we close and the ink is dry, you could do whatever you want. You could buy everything you thought you ever wanted in your lifetime. I don't care. Just wait until that loan close. I mean, until you close on your home.
Yes,
please.
until you close,
Yeah.
please. Because I have seen so many clients come to work, come to the shop crying,
Really?
because they were in it, they ready to go and everything, but they just could not wait to buy the furniture. They couldn't wait to buy the bedroom set.
Yeah.
And they wound up getting some more credit, $3,000-$4,000 in credit to furnish the place, and they killed the whole loan.
Another question that came in is the explanation of the home versus condo versus
Yes.
townhome. The question was, is that similar to a timeshare?
No. What is it? Co-op?
I'm not even a realtor.
Timeshare? No.
What is it?
No, timeshares.
No, timeshares are definitely.
Timeshare is not even up. Yeah.
Because but let me tell you
heard
something.
those
My
are
thing about a
scams.
timeshare. Now I've had several timeshares, right?
Oh, you have.
Over the years, I have had several. And then I thought about it. I woke up one morning and I had an epiphany. And I said, if I can pay $679 a month and for 6 months, then I can just go on any trip I want to. If I put $675 a month under my mattress, I can buy a flight for me, my kids, my aunt, and everybody.
Yep,
you know, why would I invest $675 into something that I can't even turn a key in?
Whenever I want.
Monthly.
Whenever I want to. You have to literally, you take turns.
Other people sleeping in the bed, other people clothes in there, other people.
It's such a scam.
It's such a scam.
I have a client that
would never do timeshare.
I have a client that they lied to her and they told her that that she would be able to get out of it. They did some sort. They lied to her about something, and it's like forever on her. They said it's going to be on her credit till she dies. Like it was a complete scam till she dies. Yep.
So what the people say about that? What the credit people say?
She's trying to. I'm working with a credit repair company now that's trying to help her get it off her credit. She's spent a lot of money.
Wow.
Trying to work with different repair companies, trying to get it removed from her credit. She can't. She said they told me when I first got into it, they told me they lied. She said the guy lied to me. I guess whoever was selling the share, he lied to her to get her to sign the paperwork. And there's no way, because she signed it, she just can't get out of it.
Can't get out of it.
Nope.
Wow. Because you know what I noticed when you go on those visits with those timeshare, the first thing they ask you is, where's your husband?
What?
They actually, no, for real. They said, where's your husband?
Oh, they want to make sure they could
and I said,
coerce you.
If I told you where he was at, then I'm going to have to kill you. Like, why are you asking me that? Like, what does that matter where my husband is at? Because they want to do business with the man. They want to do business with the man, and they don't think that you have the wherewithal to handle the information.
Or they just want to make sure there's someone else that can't be, in the background advising. They want to make sure they're talking to the people
the person
that is actually going to, exactly.
Yeah,
But extending off of the co-op and condo question, a condo is you own the apartment itself, or sometimes a condo can be a townhome.
Right.
Sometimes those can be considered a condo as well. So even in that situation, you only own the home.
Right.
And the land. Now, if it's a townhome, it's just the home and then the land that it's actually sitting right underneath.
Right. And that's it. Right, because when I lived in a townhouse, we couldn't even use the grass.
Yeah.
That was on the side of my own house.
Yeah.
Or the backyard. We couldn't use any of that. We only could use like our little deck, our little space. We couldn't like branch all the way out into the yard.
Your HOA the HOA payment that you make on a monthly basis, they take care of the surrounding grounds, so the landscaping. So you can't
be on the ground.
Not that you can't be on it, but you can't. That's not your responsibility. You don't own that.
Right.
So
right.
Yeah, so there's rules.
You
So that's
can't
a
own
part
it.
of
You don't own that, so you can't use it. That's what they saying.
part of the rules and part of the rules and regulations. Yeah, it's a part of the rules and regulations. So so that's the difference with the with the condo. If it's an apartment, you only own the apartment.
Another question is from whatever Rosie loves. What if the person made less than 21 a year? Can they still apply for a loan and an FHA?
$21,000?
Yes, you heard me correctly.
Oh, probably not, unless the house you buying is $50,000. I mean, I just can't imagine.
Like Cleveland and Detroit, they have houses for that little.
Not one person, now maybe two people together with $40,000, but one person that made $21,000 a year, you're probably not going to be able to afford to purchase a home. I don't know where would you be able to afford to purchase a home. That's going to be, I don't know what state that would be in.
I just told you, Cleveland and Detroit.
Well, you also buy the house in cash.
But what she's saying is that you're gonna need more than $21,000.
You're gonna need more than $21,000 to purchase a home.
I mean,
as your income.
Part-time job.
They're gonna need to get them a part-time job.
Yeah.
They're gonna need to get somebody to add someone. That's always an option. Add a family member to the purchase, to the loan, to that loan application. That's a purchase.
That's a good question. How many people can you add to a loan application? The maximum.
Not sure about the maximum, but you can add some. You can add
people.
You can add more than
you can add. Yeah, you can add more. Yeah, you
I
can
saw
add
five ladies bought a house together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they were. What happened was, I think I saw it on Instagram or something. These 5 ladies, they bought the home in their 20s, but and they said that when they all grow old, if they wasn't married or whatever, they would all come back to this house and live together. And they all bought the house together.
Yeah,
all 5 of them.
That's like if you were buying an investment property and you have a group of people you're investing with.
Yeah, like an investment group.
They want each and every person's credit.
Every income. Yeah, everybody is submitting the same type of documents.
And sometimes the answer to the question, y'all, and I know that a lot of the viewers don't want to hear it. Sometimes the answer to the question is you just got to make some more money.
And it's a part of your preparation. Yeah. Right? You are, hey, what's my credit score? What's my income? What's my savings look like? You have to prepare.
Another question is, can you use your life insurance policy as collateral?
Collateral for what?
No,
the home is collateral. When you're buying a home, they're giving you a loan and you're pledging the home for the loan.
But if it has cash value, I've taken money out of my
that's what I said. When they say collateral, I don't know what they mean.
No, it's not collateral.
Not collateral, but you can use a whole life insurance policy.
Yeah.
If usually they have cash value. Yeah. You can pull out the cash and use. Now you have to have had it for some time to build the cash value.
Yeah.
But you can absolutely use your whole life insurance policy, the cash. You can pull out the cash and use it for a real estate purchase.
And that's borrowing money from yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly. Another question was, so if I put someone on the home and they don't live there, will they also be considered the homeowner?
They'll be on the title.
Yeah.
Yes.
They can tell you what to do.
They could be on.
They got to say.
Wait, they're gonna be on.
They gotta say if their name is on there. They gotta say.
No, they're gonna be on the mortgage for sure. Right? They're gonna definitely be on the mortgage because you're using their income to help you qualify for the mortgage.
Right. As soon as you mess up, you do something wrong, or you say something they don't like, they can do something, right? They can say yes or no, or have some say. I mean, who stay there?
They have
yes, Taliah.
No, to refi and things like that, they have some say.
No, he's saying the question was.
The question was.
Say the question. Say the question.
If somebody doesn't live there and I add them to the house, would they be considered a homeowner? If they don't
so they weren't talking about on the loan.
Okay, listen. Say I'm dating this guy. He owns his home already.
Yeah.
But I say I'm only gonna move in if I have some type of
ownership. So he adds you to the title.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, right.
Oh well, yeah. If you're adding them to the title, once a person is on a title, you can't do nothing without that person's say.
Exactly.
You can't sell the home. You can't refi the home. You can't do anything without their say. Once you add someone on the title.
Somebody.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So be careful, sis.
Oh, sorry.
Another question is, if you were approved for a $500,000 loan and you only spend $450,000, would the bank give you the extra $50,000 that you didn't spend?
No, people ask me that a lot. That is a very common question. They're gonna loan you what you need. Yes. That's a very common question I get. So people think if you get a pre-approval, for $500,000 and the home ends up end up getting $300,000 home. They think you can still get that 150 difference. No, there's no, absolutely not. They're only loaning you the price of. Remember, when you go into contract, the lender gets the contract, so they're going to see what the price of the home is.
So they also said, like, if I add another person onto the yearly salary, if the person just did me a favor, are they part of the mortgage?
Say it again.
If I add another person to the yearly salary, and the person just did me a favor, letting you use their information, are they considered part of the mortgage?
Yes. Because you're adding the other person because you obviously can't qualify to do it yourself. Right? So if you're adding the other person to the loan application, when you're adding someone to a loan application, they are filling out the same information you're filling out. They're giving their credit, they're giving their income information. They are applying for a loan the same way you are.
The same way you are.
Yes.
And just be careful when you start adding people, y'all.
Yeah, you have to have a serious talk with the family members or the friends, whoever that you're, especially depends on how, why they're being added. If they're living in the home with you, obviously, that's a separate, situation. But if they're helping you, they have to understand it's going to affect their credit. The loan's going to be on their credit as well. So it has to be, you have to sit down and have a conversation. That same way you need to prepare and figure out, what your monthly budget is so that you won't be in a situation where you can't afford, where you're too tight with affording your mortgage. You have to come up with that budget. That's the same, you should be preparing and having that same conversation with any type of, adding a, person on your loan. There should be some sort of conversation you guys are having.
Right. And being responsible.
You should tell people they should have a proposed budget.
We talked about that in the very beginning.
Yeah, we did.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't go by the pre-approval. You should be coming up with a monthly budget. Let's say if you're a first-time home buyer and your rent right now is $2,000 and you comfortably pay $2,000 with everything else that you have to do, everything else you have to pay, car notes and utilities and shop, whatever you consider is important, because someone may say, I'm going to cut this out, or I'm going to, lower my, get a different type of car, or have so whatever you think is important, whatever your monthly amount is. I'm just saying, if you're a first time home buyer, this is a good way to, come up with that number.
Right.
If you're paying that $2,000 comfortably in rent, that should be your monthly budget.
Exactly.
And if you think, okay, I'm going to, I'm getting a raise, or I'm getting a second job, or whatever it is, then, figure out if you can go up that extra couple $100. But you have to figure out what that monthly expense is, where you're comfortable at for that monthly housing expense.
Do you recommend getting your house in a trust?
Somebody asked that?
Do you recommend doing what?
Getting your house in a trust.
Putting it in a trust?
Yes, when you purchase it.
But if you put the person's name on it, if you put it in your...
I put my properties in trust.
Okay.
It's the best way to protect your asset.
Right.
But you should be talking to your attorney about that. I'm not an attorney, but it is absolutely a conversation you should be having with your attorney. It is the best way to protect your asset. If anything ever happens, someone sues you, they cannot touch, that asset cannot be touched because it's in that trust. If you have an untimely passing and, your affairs have to be settled, no creditors, anything can come for anything that's in that trust. So it's the best way to protect your asset.
Right.
That's what I would say about that one.
Okay. Any more questions, Chris?
Quick questions.
Okay. A lot of people have a lot of questions about of course, property taxes, lawn maintenance, the vac system, the hot water heater, all these things, right? Because I remember when my last townhouse that I was going to buy, and the heater was working, but it was still like at a point where it had been in the house for 20 years. So they said it could be on its way out. Would that be a deal breaker? The hot water heater. So would that be a deal breaker for me?
The lifespan of a hot water heater is about 13 years, 12, 13 years. So it's up to you. when you're gonna have your home inspection, right? That's always gonna be recommended. So when you have your home inspection, your report is gonna tell you how old the systems are.
Right.
Everything, right? And knowing what the lifespan is, and then there's gonna be recommendations. Your home inspector will have recommendations on that report. You know, hot water heater is 12 years old. It's nearing the end of its lifespan. Recommended that you purchase it, that a new one should be purchased.
Okay.
So you have to keep that in mind. It may last 5 more years.
Right.
But you at least know your report is telling you how old this system is.
Okay.
So that's definitely something you want to check.
Okay.
The age of your systems. If you're buying existing property.
Okay.
Okay. So you definitely want to check the age of all of your of the appliances, of the mechanics, of the systems. Yes.
Okay. Would you recommend a rental property for your first property? If you
Yes.
never owned before, ever?
Yep. Okay. Because let's say if you're a single woman, right, and you want to purchase, I recommend either you purchasing a multifamily home, living in one unit, renting out the other units, because now you're creating another income for yourself.
Right.
You know, if depending on the size of the multifamily home, you could possibly have the rents from the tenants pay your entire mortgage. Or if it's just a 2-family, maybe, you only have one other tenant, it could be paying most of your mortgage.
Right.
So the rental property, I mean, that's, to me, I'm always going to, depending on the person, like I said, depending on the situation. If you have a big family and that's completely different. But depending on the person's situation, I mean, a rental property is, you're creating, that's an asset, and you're creating income, another stream of income for yourself. That's all. I would recommend that first if you can.
Right.
You can build more, and then possibly buy that home you really want. So same thing we call it house hacking. You live in one unit, you rent out the other units. Now you can save up, maybe in a year or 2 years, you can move out and purchase that dream home, or maybe that almost dream home, and keep working from there. And now you have a rental property that's a whole other stream of income from whatever it is that your profession is. And now you have now you can purchase that other home, and now that rental property pays that mortgage.
Right.
So I'm always gonna be an advocate for purchasing a rental property. If that's your strategy, I would think that's actually a smart strategy. Like, you know what, I wanna get a rental property first before I purchase my home. Because you have to remember, the home that you live in is not an asset. It is depreciating, you live there,
it's like a car.
You are wearing it down, okay? So it's not an asset, the home that you live in. So buying that rental property provides that for you.
Right.
Income, another stream of income. We're always with the multiple streams of income.
Yeah. So people are asking, should you do a 15-year mortgage or a 30-year mortgage? How do you decide?
Well, I always say, why not just get the 30-year mortgage? If you want to pay off the loan in a shorter amount of time, there's ways that you can do that. You pay, I think the strategy is one extra payment per year.
I never understood that strategy though.
Why?
Like one extra payment?
It's going, but you have to make sure it's being paid towards the principal.
Oh.
Because you have to remember, the first about 10 to 12 years on your mortgage, you are paying probably 80% interest.
Wow.
There is nothing pretty much going towards
the principal.
I have a client that I'm selling his home right now, right? We should be closing this week. It's an investment property, and he has owned the property since 2019. The original loan amount was like $305. We got his payoff letter on Thursday or Friday. His payoff amount is like $279. It's $20,000 difference. In April, it will be 5 years he owned that property. In 5 years, he only took off $20,000.
Wow.
Because that shows you he was paying mostly interest.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a huge part of your payments in probably the first 10 to 15 years of the loan. So you don't start seeing a large amount of your mortgage payment go into your principal until after that time frame. Yep.
Wow.
So remember, if you do a 15-year, now remember, this is a loan, right? So if you're getting a 15-year loan, your interest rate is going to be lower because you're borrowing the money for a less amount of time.
Right.
But remember that the loan payment is going to be higher because it's a short amount of time. So it's gonna mean you can totally get the lender to run the numbers, but as a first-time home buyer, especially, I would say just do the 30-year mortgage. Yeah, and if you run into the money, or come into some sort of lump sum of money, or you start to have an increase in your income some way, an extra job, or an additional job, or an increase in your pay, then you can take the steps to pay down your mortgage. I would say buy you another asset. That's what I would say. You have to, other people's money. This is the way you build wealth.
Yeah.
Stop just thinking, people are scared of debt. It all depends on what's comfortable for you. Yeah, people are scared of debt.
Maybe because I got all the wrong kind of debt.
That's
I got American
that's
Express
probably
debt.
why. Yeah. Credit card debt is a whole different type of debt.
Nordstrom debt, Bloomingdale's debt.
Debt on acid is not really, it's good debt. It can be good debt,
Yeah.
So I mean, you can make it bad debt if you don't pay, but it's, I would always say, take that money and buy something that's going to generate income.
Right.
Don't give the bank the money. Let them, as long as you can make the payments, make the payments. Take that money and buy something that's going to generate more income for you.
Right.
And now it adds to your net worth, and you have more income, and now you have more flexibility. Now maybe pay some money down on that original principal for your home that you actually live in, for your principal home.
Right.
So yeah.
I would say what I have learned over the years is that we can't be married to anything. We can't be married because we were married to this house because it's our first house or whatever. But it shouldn't be your end all, be all, because you never know what's going to happen where you may need to flip that house, get another house. You can't be so vested
rigid,
in this one thing that you can't see the other opportunities that's out there for you.
I try to tell, that's a conversation that I'm quite sure a lot of realtors have with their clients, but you have to understand people. On one of the on that clip that went viral, in one of the comments, I said that people don't approach purchasing a home as a business, and it absolutely is. It's understandable. Most people that are purchasing a home, consumers, they are employees. Right. A lot of the people are employees, and they have more of an employee mindset. They're not thinking of it, strategizing it in a way where it's going to be beneficial for them, financially beneficial. They're just thinking, I want a home, the American dream, right? I want a home with the white picket fence, right? So yeah, absolutely. You should strategize it and not get too attached to the home, because you want to take advantage of if there's a seller's market. My agent and I was having this conversation this morning, and we were discussing not being attached to a home, because if you're in a seller's market and you can make more money, you want to be, I'm not saying just get up and sell the home,
right?
But make sure don't be afraid to, take advantage of that market. Right. You never know. In another 2 years, it may be a buyer's market, and you won't make as much money as you could have made a couple of years ago.
Exactly. I know a lot of people that sold homes.
Oh, me too.
During the pandemic.
Yeah, absolutely. And
a lot of people, they made a lot of money.
I mean,
more money than they ever seen
in their life. I mean, and the amount of equity that people were building in that time, it was just amazing. In 2-3 years, people have like $150,000 in equity.
Right.
And that's unheard of. That's not normal. That's $50,000 a year that you gained in equity. Right. That is just, so you don't want to be too, the same way if you find yourself in mortgage trouble, don't be afraid to sell a house.
Right.
People do that. People try to hold on, and then they go into foreclosure.
Right.
Now you can't sell the house without the bank's, permission. So definitely don't get too married to it. It's a little difficult when people are raising a family in a home, and they like, I raised all my kids, and it's a little difficult. But just don't let it affect you to make a better decision. Yeah.
It's always like that saying, don't hold on too long, don't let go too fast.
Yeah. Don't hold on too long, don't let go too fast.
Because it's like you just get going back and forth, like teeter-tottering between what I should do, what I shouldn't do, what I shouldn't do.
I mean, when you sell, could literally be.
It could change your life.
It can change your life.
It could change your life.
It can put some money in the bank. It can put some, when you sell, knowing when to sell.
Right.
As we say, knowing when to sell. The same thing like business. You have to have an exit strategy.
Yeah.
So that's why I said people don't purchase real estate, especially when they're purchasing a home for themselves to live in, they don't think about it as a business. You have to have an exit strategy.
Right.
What is going to be your end game, your end goal?
I think a lot of people end goal is, okay,
Pay off the
I
mortgage.
got this house. I never lived in anything that I can say that I own, but you don't own it yet, sis. You don't own it. You still paying the payment. You don't own it yet.
Yeah.
Right?
Gotta
And as soon as
play with it a little
look,
bit.
anything can be sold for the right price. You want this?
Yeah.
You want this?
Everything is negotiable. I think that was one of the questions.
Everything is negotiable.
Is the sales price negotiable? Everything is negotiable.
Is negotiable.
Absolutely.
Everything. Because everybody want to get rid of it. Everybody want, if it's for sale, they want to get rid of it.
Yes. This is very true. Very true.
So what is 5 things you can tell people to do to prepare to buy a home?
5 things to prepare to buy a home. Definitely your credit. Make sure your credit is in order. Obviously, make sure you have your financials in order. So your tax returns, make sure you have you've been working for 2 years, steady income. Make sure you have
No money under the bed.
no money under the bed. Make sure you have a savings, and you are making sure make sure that you have a good amount of savings. Do the research. Talk to even if you're not completely ready, have that conversation with the realtor. What should I be looking at? What range should I be looking at? Have that conversation with the lender. They don't have to run your credit. You can just sit down with them and kind of talk about your income. And they'll tell you what type of home, what price of home you would be looking at, you would be able to afford, and then you can figure out what your down payment and closing costs would possibly be based on the percentages that I gave you earlier. Okay. So I'd say the other couple things would be job. Are you going to be looking to stay in the same area for 5 years?
Right.
If you're looking to, if you're thinking maybe you're going to be, change jobs or things like that, or relocate or something like that, now may not be the time.
Right.
Right. If you have a family, your schools, is it the right time to switch schools? All of those things should be, so your individual situation is going to have an effect or impact your decision, but that's what you should be looking at, your individual family situation.
Right.
And making this decision to buy. Right. Location, schools.
I remember when my girlfriend was contemplating moving from Georgia to California, and she was like, "Oh, we can't move right now because her daughter was in high school, like her maybe second year in high school." And she said, we really don't want to take her away from her friends, take her out of her high school, put her in a new place that she may not thrive as well, because she's so used to being where she is.
Have a lot of clients make the decision based on.
Think about that when you're moving and you're purchasing these homes. It's not just you, especially when you have other people that are dependent on you to make their lives work. When you pull those kids out of there, you may be creating a whole nother problem.
True. I mean, the top 2 reasons people move, buying and renting, is jobs. I mean, the factors that are considered. Right. Jobs and schools.
Schools, 100%.
Those are the 2
That's why
factors.
I moved upstate, because I was like, I'd rather
Better
pay
school.
taxes than pay the New York tuition.
Exactly. Because if you're paying high in an area that has high property taxes, the public schools are great schools.
100%.
So, that's going to have an effect too. So, if you have someone that has a family that's looking to purchase, they're going to be looking for good schools, blue ribbon schools, and now they're going to be looking for an area possibly with high property taxes.
Exactly.
For this reason. But someone who's single can go in an area where the property taxes aren't high right now. Maybe it's an up and coming area, but they have a little bit more flexibility when it comes to that.
Exactly.
Someone with children are like, no, I want to make sure the schools are good, so that that decision is going to be impacted by the family dynamic or what that family is consisted of.
Right. And just make sure, y'all, everybody that's listening, that you make these decisions based on your family
not what nobody else is doing,
and not somebody else's family dynamics. Because if your best friend is single and she ain't got no husband and she ain't got no kids and all she got is her and her dog, she can do different things than what you can do.
That's very true. She's a little bit more
because
flexible.
You got 2 kids, a husband, all these things going on. It's different things that you need to take into account that she doesn't. So you have to make sure that you're doing what's best for you and your family.
Yes.
And you single people, you can do what's best for you and your dog.
If you are falling behind on your mortgage, what's the first step she should take?
you should, if you're falling behind, okay, so you definitely want to, if the first month you fell behind, you don't want to let it to get to 3 months. That's the number one. Because after 3 months, now you're going to foreclosure.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
If
so
you can't pay one, you can't pay two.
I was going to say,
we talk about this all the time,
Christopher.
You can't pay one, you can't pay
Once you get 2 months behind.
Catch up on 2 months of anything.
Let me tell you something. It's hard.
It's going to be hard.
It's super hard because what happens is that, yes, you catch up with them, but then you fall back with somebody else.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Because you're not caught up because you hit the lottery and it's just your money. You caught up because you done borrowed that money from somebody else.
Yep.
So now you done messed up that relationship to try to fix this stay in this house, right? And now you go but then it starts to be a cycle with your friends. Now you borrowing from Chris. Now you borrowing from Taliah. Now you borrowing from Lucy. Now you borrowing from everybody. I done borrowed from all of y'all trying to keep this.
Yeah.
Now I'm totally in a place that I cannot afford. So now I done not only messed up my home dynamic, I done also messed up my friends.
Yes.
I ain't got no friends and ain't got nowhere to stay.
Yep.
Because I can't stay with the friends that I owe money to.
But
I'm just saying.
Not with the kids.
I would say.
You know what I mean?
I would say why, the first question I would think would be, why did you fall behind that first month?
Right.
Let's just say you made a mistake.
If both our incomes, our household depended on both our incomes, my wife lost her job.
I would have a sit down with my wife and have a long conversation about what do we do, where are we?
Where are we?
Let's get
what we gonna do?
Let's give ourselves, okay, y'all, let's say y'all missed that month. Let's give ourselves a month for you to get a job. That may be a little bit too much. I don't know. Because it depends on how far behind.
Now you're already 2 months behind.
Yeah, now you're 2 months behind.
It's just hard. Like once you...
But should you pay, should he pay his half?
Ain't no half.
If they both were putting their incomes together to pay the mortgage and she no longer has an income,
right?
Should he still pay his half?
He should be trying to pay the whole amount.
But what was that?
He should be trying to.
He said, what half?
He should be trying to pay the whole.
Because you still behind after that, right?
He paid something.
Okay, I mean.
How far should they let it go?
That's a hard conversation. I always say that
I think
once you fall behind,
you don't have
you should be looking to sell.
You know you don't have it.
Just sell it
on the 6th.
Just sell it.
No, for real. Well, you know you don't have it on the 6th. It needs to be a conversation in the household. Because what happens is also going to change the dynamics of our relationship.
That's another thing.
If the money is funny, I can't even have no sex.
Yeah.
If the money is funny, I can't talk. If the money is funny, I don't want to go to
The energy is weird.
The energy is weird. The energy is everything. Like, let's have that conversation because let's save all of that.
Yes.
Because I understand you having a problem. You done lost your job. The last thing I want you to do is to lose your job and don't tell me.
Yeah.
Well,
that's a problem.
He's pretending to work, get up every day for 6 months.
That's a problem.
Pretended to work, and she had to pay it herself. But the point is,
wow.
At what point should you speak to the mortgage company and let them know, hey?
Immediately. I was getting to that. So
I would say immediately.
Immediately. As soon as you fall behind.
When you know you
the
can't make
first month.
You know
you only have 3. After 3
because
is going in foreclosure.
Because they also have it where you can put it on the back end.
Yeah. You could do a loan modification.
Yeah, you could put that money on the back end.
So that's what that's called, a loan modification, and it's basically they're gonna reassess the loan payments and they're gonna reduce them, but the money doesn't go anywhere.
The money don't go away. The money put it on the back end.
It goes on the back end of the loan. But there's options, so that immediately I would call the mortgage company for sure.
That is a good. This is a really good strong part of this talk because a lot of people are in this situation
and don't know what to do.
And
I see people that
wait
too long.
Don't wait too long,
too late.
y'all.
Whose husband stopped paying the mortgage and she didn't know. Now people was coming to bang up the doors and she didn't do nothing about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Don't wait too long. Say that again, Taliah. Don't wait too long. Because that's important.
So as soon as you fall, if you find yourself
March payment.
Yes, if you find yourself falling behind the first month that you fall behind on a mortgage, immediately call your lender and explain whatever that situation is, whatever problems you're having.
Right.
Discuss that and discuss your options immediately. Hey, I would like to know my options. We are having a change in our household income. We don't know when things are going to turn around just yet. What are our options?
Right. And you having a hardship.
Yeah.
I'm having a hardship.
It's life.
It's life.
We up and down. It's
life
up and down.
Be
you can't be
the
up.
The world be whirling. Yeah. People be peopling.
And you can't. And you can't be up all the time.
No.
You know, so it's definitely there's going to be some times where that possibly maybe a situation.
And did that happen a lot during the pandemic?
Yes.
I lost I lost my home during the pandemic, the one that I was gonna buy. Remember, I
you lost
I was
out
in
on
it.
Yeah.
Remember, I was in the I was gonna buy that townhouse up in Saddlebrook.
You weren't living there.
No, I wasn't living there, but I lost the ability to buy it.
I remember
because we were out for 3 months, and they told me that they had to retract the loan because I wasn't going to make the amount of money that I made the previous year. Of course, I wasn't going to make the money that I made the previous year, but then you don't know that because I'm fast.
Yeah.
And I can, whip it around and whip it together. But you can't explain it like that to the bank because they said that's what they felt like. I lost 3 months of pay, and I couldn't.
You couldn't afford it.
They retracted
I remember that. You were like in process. You were already in process of purchasing.
So think about if I was in the home and I lost the 3 months of pay. That's the same thing. Then I would have called the bank to let them know, hey, I'm having a hardship. What are my options? What can I do so I can make sure that I stay in my home because my income has changed?
Yes.
You have to be honest with
You have to be. That's why I said tell them what's going on.
You have to be honest.
You owe them the money.
Yeah.
The lender, the money. Like that, they loaned you the money. Talk to them about what's happening.
Yeah, because my mother used to be like, mad at people knocking on her door because you owe these people. What did you, Mom?
You owe them money.
What did you talk? What? She said she ain't here. She said she ain't here.
She was ducking for the people.
That's all I can. I'm just
she was ducking from the people.
Like in hindsight, I'm just like,
thinking
why
about
it.
Yeah, why would she just tell them the situation?
Why didn't she
but people do that when they owe people money too.
People money,
they duck them.
They would prefer to stop speaking to you before they explain why I couldn't pay.
That is the truth, honey. They just won't talk to you. Instead of just saying, listen, I'm really having a tough time. The money I have, it's just, I have money obviously, but I'm only able to pay my bills.
Exactly.
Give me some time. Like, talk about what's happening.
Talk about it.
Yeah,
man, don't leave people in the dark. Especially when you owe them and then you shopping and acting like you don't know you don't owe them.
Nah.
That's not
right. Now they heated at you. They see you going to get your hair, your nails done, and now they got an attitude.
That's crazy.
You should be having an explicit conversation with your lender.
That's crazy.
It's just clearly personal. I'll have an explicit conversation with my lender. Like talk to them person like it's your friend. Listen, this was happening. I don't know. The husband, he just got laid off. We don't know. They saying they may bring them back, but we think he may have a new job in 2 weeks, but we don't know. What do you think? We talk to them like they are your friends.
At 100%.
Yep.
100%. It's over. But this talk was good, Taliah, especially, that this last piece
that was a good question. That was your own question?
It really hit home for a lot of people because a lot of people don't know that they really have options. And nobody is talking about it.
No.
Everybady's living in secret.
Right, Taliah?
They're not in the business. The bank is not in the business of holding the asset. They are in the business of loaning the money.
That's it.
Period. They don't want to keep the house. They want you to keep the house. They want their money.
They don't want that house?
Yeah, they want their money. And 9 times out of 10, when it gets foreclosed on, it gets sold for a small percentage of what you actually owe.
Exactly.
So they don't want it. They're not in the business of of retaining assets, of retaining that type of asset.
Right.
They're not real estate investors. They are lenders.
Right.
That's what they're there to do. They want to lend you the money and make their percentage. Right. Yeah.
So I hope we answered a lot of your questions, hopefully all of your questions. If you have more questions, make sure you comment below. This has been great, Taliah. This is fantastic. Okay,
how long do foreclosures stay on your credit? Mr. Simple Life 215 asks that. Foreclosures stay on your credit, I believe, until at least 7 years.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the same thing as any other debt. It stays on. It falls off after. I don't know about it falling off.
Yeah, I think
it's a different type of debt.
I didn't foreclose. I had short sales.
That's different. So you were able to. That's the reason why you didn't have a foreclosure on your credit, because they were actually able to sell the home.
Right.
So the foreclosure is they have to actually take the home from you.
Right.
Yeah, but not seize it.
Isn't that kind of like a bankruptcy?
It's a little bit different.
But wouldn't it stay on there like a big bank stay on there for like 7 years?
Exactly.
7 years?
Exactly. Now, I believe it's going to be different depending on different lenders, right? So some lenders may you may have to call. It may not just automatically fall off. You probably have to call. It's not going to be. I doubt that it just automatically falls off.
Because there's nothing you can do about it.
No, there's nothing you can do about it. You owe the money.
It's not, but. So do you pay the money, or do you just let it sit there? Or?
So I know most people that I know that were in foreclosure, no one ever paid the debt. They just let it sit there and then let the time pass. We just have bad credit for that amount of time. And then after 7 years, you're able to get a debt removed.
Oh, okay.
But I doubt that a bank, maybe some other small creditors, it will all automatically fall off. But you probably have to like run your credit, and then you know how you dispute? You would probably have to dispute the debt. And then the reason for your dispute would be it's been 7 years.
7 years, okay.
I completely doubt that the bank is just going to automatically remove the debt. You probably have to dispute it to get it removed from your credit.
Right.
But 7 years for sure, Mr. Simple, Life 215. Definitely 7 years. Before you can get it removed.
Right.
If you don't pay it before then.
If you don't pay it before then.
If you pay it before then, you can get it removed.
Ain't nobody paying.
Yeah, ain't nobody paying. Nobody paying. Nobody's paying. But once that foreclosure hits your credit, that credit score is all the way down. Yeah.
For everybody who signed the mortgage.
For everyone who signed the mortgage. Because remember, whoever applied on that joint loan application, that loan goes on everybody's credit.
So be careful when you sign it for people. Now I understand why my daddy didn't want to sign for my first car. I understand now at this big age. Because
he probably was
that
pissed
small
off at
age,
you was probably
16,
mad.
17 years old, I was like, who will help me get my tracker? I wanted to get my tracker.
I'm telling you.
It was my first purchase. So, co-signing for people is a big
deal.
Thing.
That's why you have to understand when people say no, why they say no. Why they say no. Yeah,
you don't trust.
That debt goes on their credit, and they are responsible. The credits. You know how many people I hear say, oh, when I pull their, especially with renting, when we pull their report and they're like, oh, that was something I did for a cousin. No one cares.
Nobody cares.
You were responsible because that's why a good strategy. You know how people feel like when they're married couples, they have to buy together, they have to get on that loan application. It's better to divide and conquer. It is. Because remember, if you can afford, let's say you could afford try to afford a home purchase with just one income.
Right.
Because you can get that FHA and then your husband can get that FHA or, vice versa. And then maybe that second property I can buy a rental property with his FHA.
Oh, so you can have 2 FHAs in the house.
Absolutely.
Get out of town.
But if y'all both get on the same loan application, now remember, okay, let's say we're buying a $500,000 house to live in.
Right.
That $500,000 goes on Taliah's credit. That $500,000 goes on Taliah's husband's credit. Now we both have debt, that debt on our credit. So when you go to get another loan, that debt comes up.
Right.
So now if Taliah's income,
we're better apart than we are together.
On paper.
On paper. That's what I'm trying to say.
When you're talking about buying these assets, absolutely. And maybe let's have a conversation. Let's not get the $500,000 house. Let's get the $400,000 with my income. We could sacrifice that, and then let's buy a rental. That's what I mean. The strategies.
It's a sacrifice.
The strategies.
It's a sacrifice.
Yes.
We can sacrifice and just do the $400,000.
Exactly. It's going to be a sacrifice for me, honey. Listen, I'm going to be like, power my lip, but I'm like, this is the smart decision. But yes, it's yes. Yeah. But that's what we say, divide and conquer. Don't always think, let's get on the loan application together.
Right.
Now obviously depending on what your strategy is, what your situation is, what you're buying, then, it's going to, that may.
Is that a realistic approach? Because a lot of people can't afford to, if they're married, they got to do it together.
Maybe. As I say, it could be. You could.
If you can.
And
if it's at all possible.
Yes.
For you guys to be separate.
Yes.
I totally understand what she's saying.
Yeah.
And if it's at all possible, y'all.
Right. Now, if you make $30,000 and then you probably need, then it's best for you to do the joint loan application.
Do it together.
But if you, and then look, like one of the factors that we discussed about preparing to purchase a home.
Right.
Location, right? So, because that's going to determine the price point. When you're looking, okay, I want to buy a home in Pennsylvania, you need to be looking at the average price of a home.
Home in Pennsylvania, yeah.
So this is that's why I said location.
Right.
Because you want to start to figure out what price point am I going to be in if I'm purchasing in this state, in this county, in this city, So like I said, that's a strategy. Now you may not be able to, but you may say, okay, well, if we move a little bit 20 minutes left, north or south, we can purchase with just me.
Exactly.
I mean, and if that's your strategy, if you guys want to get a rental property with the,
Right.
You may say, well, we're going to get a rental property in 5 years.
Okay.
Then, maybe you guys want to get on a loan together and get a larger home or, get a better, be approved for more so you have more options.
Right.
Okay. But just don't be afraid of that.
Don't be afraid of that.
Yeah, look at that as an option.
Right.
Remember, you can use your FHA for and then he can use it. If y'all go on together, he's used it, you guys used it together.
Right.
And now y'all both are in the FHA loan on this.
Right, I understand. That was really good advice.
Yes.
I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna put that one.
Divide and conquer.
Yeah, divide and conquer. Okay, so if there's no more questions.
No more questions?
We're gonna end this show. This was really good, Taliah. We did answer a lot of questions because like 500,000 views we got. Was it 500,000 views we got?
Over 500,000 views
we got, which was fantastic. I want to say thank you. Thank you.
Yes, we appreciate you.
So
guys.
let's take some of this energy over here to YouTube, right? And we're gonna have all of the information about how to get Taliah and also how to get her journal.
How to purchase the home buyer's planning journal. It's a planning journal, so it helps you plan your purchase from beginning to end, everything that you should start with, all the important pieces and factors. And you could also jot things down so that you can have it as a keepsake. So you can look back and say, oh, this is what I went through, and you could also use it as a resource. For the next purchase. Yeah. But So
okay, this has been Beauty, Business, and Banking. Till next time.
Bye.